the slotted flap is like that, right? You have airflow, right? Goes over the top and goes over the bottom, okay? So, at high angles of attack, what happens to a wing? The airflow becomes turbulent up here, right? It loses speed. The velocity slows down, and if it goes too slow, what happens? It separates. And then you get...
It's like stall, right?
Stall. That's the stall. So, what this does... What this slot does is if you look at it, whenever you get high angles of attack, the airflow becomes turbulent, like that, right? Become turbulent. What this slot does, and it loses velocity. It's going slower. What this slot does, this air below here is high velocity. The slot opens up some air and allows air to go up on the top, so it'll speed this up. So it'll get really turbulent and then it'll smooth out again.
Oh, okay. That's why they have a terminal from there.
That's what this does. Duchess, single slotted.
Like that. Like what you're doing now.
Yeah. This is a single slotted. Now, when you add Fowler flaps, like a 747, have you seen a 747 before? Well, actually, before we go into Fowler flaps, let's do split flap. Split flap, if you've ever seen a DC-3, DC-3 has split flaps. The flap is actually down here and will open this way.
Which flap now?
Split flap.
Split, okay.
The split flap, what this does is this changes also, remember what's camber? Camber is the shape of the wing, right? So this changes the camber a little bit because now you've introduced that.
Yeah.
So what does this do? Remember, okay, the wing, you have air goes up and over the top. You have air that goes down. Now, this air goes like this and this air goes like this. Now you have this big space right here. Actually, it goes the other way. It goes like this. So you have turbulence right here. What does turbulence, all this turbulent stuff mean?
Induced drag.
Drag, yes. Parasite drag.
Eh?
Parasite.
For the
This is an air brake.
vortex?
Yeah. No, it's not a wingtip vortex. Wingtip vortex. This is just, you're creating turbulence here. It's what an air brake does. This is not wingtip vortex. This is not a wingtip vortex. This is just turbulence from, you open up a hole in the back. See, normally if the wingtip was pointy, the air would join back together nicely and smoothly. What this does is you open up a break. So you're opening up a hole. The air
Will join together.
the air wants to go, it wants to fill this space up, right? The air is going to try to go in here, and so you're actually going to get a little bit of this action going. So we'll do that.
So that make
The air tries
turning.
to fill this hole, and it makes turbulence. If you try to make turbulence, what are you making? You're making drag.
Yeah.
Okay? So that is the split flap.
So that's for
So
slow
split flaps are for creating lift and brake.
break.
So airplanes that need to slow down will have the split flaps. The other thing you have is the Fowler flap. The Fowler flap usually is on a very large wing. Now the 747, have you seen a 747 before? 747, Fowler flap is like this. See, you have this section, the bottom section of the flap will move back, like this. So you'll have another flap back here. And you'll have it'll actually tilt down a little bit too, so you have another one back here. So the 747 actually has triple slotted. 1, 2, 3. Now, when this is all stowed, it's only this big. When it's not stowed, it's this big. So what does this do? It increases the surface area. So Fowler flap on a 747 is multiple. You can have a single slotted Fowler flap, double slotted, or triple slotted. The 7.4 is triple slotted.
there's a lot of
Yes, lots and lots of extra surface area. And why do you have the slots? Now remember, the longer you make the wing, guess what? Remember how it got turbulent? The air got turbulent here? The longer you have to travel across the wing, the more opportunity you have to create a stall.
slow
So that's why you want a thin wing, like a glider,
to access.
right? Because you remember how lift was generated. I'm just going to draw a regular wing.
Yeah, the downwash and the upwash.
So you have the upwash here, air goes over, air goes under, and you have... So the air up here, it accelerates, right? It goes fast, and then as you go down the backside, it slows down. Because remember how if we look at a wing, we create low pressure on the top, right? If you look, the lowest pressure is right around here, right? So the lowest pressure is here. So the lowest pressure is right here. This is the fastest point, right? Then the pressure starts going back up, right? We call this an adverse pressure gradient. Adverse pressure gradient means that this is going to slow down. The higher the angle of attack, the greater the adverse pressure gradient. So if you have a really big wing, you're going to have to go from here all the way to the back of the wing without separating. That's why when you increase the surface area with the flaps, you need slots to keep re-energizing the airflow. Or else the air would never make it down the bottom of the wing.
That's flow. So the point for the floor is a different layer, right?
The point is to make
Surface bigger and the
surface area bigger. And then because you made the surface area bigger, you need to re-energize the flow. Now, the slotted flap doesn't increase surface area. All it does is just opens up. Whenever the flap comes down, it opens the slot up.
but still increase a little faster.
A little bit of the surface area, but just very, very little. That's why I don't call the Cessna Fowler flap, because it really doesn't increase the surface area all that much.
So what about the plane flap?
Plane flap? I've never seen an airplane with a plane flap before. They always have the slot.
Which one?
Always they have the slot. Well, they say this to Fowler, but they all have the slot. Every airplane I've seen has a slot.
Okay.
Never seen one with just plain. I haven't seen one yet.
So plane flap just change the angle of the kick only.
And camber of the wing, because you change the shape of the wing, right? You bent the wing down.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because this one also confused me a lot. When I was private, it's confused me a lot. Okay, take a break.